Well, what's up, everybody? This is your girl Erica from the Classy Climb blog, coming today with some very interesting topics. But before we start, if you don't know who I am, my name is Ericka Williams, Classy Climb blog, author of the Smartphone Millionaire book, How to Invest in People, Businesses, and Real Estate from the Palm of Your Hand. Uh, manage over 2.7 million in different asset classes, and it's always an interesting time when you're on the channel watching. So let's go ahead and kick it off. Now, you see from the title. We're being extra today. Snitches getting paid out, right? And people are like, okay, Ericka, what does this have to do? Now, first thing you're going to think is, well, Ericka, I don't hang around criminals. I don't hang around 48 hours type of people, TV shows. I don't hang around those type of people. But I want you to read some of the Forbes article and I want you to listen to some of the interview. They aren't just picking criminals. They have people that work at Geek Squad at Best Buy. They have people who are on airlines, Amtrak. They've got folks who are literally everyday citizens going about your business. Now, what you're going to see in the future, and I promise you this, some of this stuff I'm predicting because I'm just telling you what I'm seeing boots on the ground. What happened during the whole OnlyFans thing, the OnlyFans craze? Let's just go there. You had a bunch of salty like a bag of vinegar, salt chips men going, these women are making monies. And so they started reporting, like when they figured out who some of these ladies' identity was, who they were, where they worked, different things. They started reporting them in turn for money. I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you, I used to work at H&R Block. I assure you, some folks work at H&R Block with just the hope to be able to snitch. Uh, there's reasons why you meet people who don't do their taxes for years and years and years, because they're shaving on the books. They're not reporting everything. So what you'll see in the future is more Geek Squad people snitching, more people doing private purchases, selling cars, selling shotguns, all that good stuff, ATF related. Raw milk drinkers, right? That's been a whole thing, a craze, where they were snitching on each other for a while. Accountants, right? When we saw all these accountants, um, realized they were just going to be swamped with paperwork because of the PPP loan, you're going to have a lot of people, like, if you really read a lot of these articles on the PPP, people getting arrested, it's the bankers. Like the bankers push the paperwork through and then they'd be like, that don't look right, and call somebody, right? It's also, it's also when those guys buy those sports cars, they're calling around. They don't sound right. There's a lot of people that will be into this snitching economy, right? Because we're thinking, oh, it's the dangerous folks. It's the dangerous drug dealers. Now, let me go ahead and tell you why I know it's going to be just more regular everyday folk, because inflation is going to come and kick hard. You got a lot of average everyday people hating. You saw how the guys acted when they could find and dox the identities of the OnlyFans women. They were like, yes, we're going to snitch to the IRS on them, right? You got people, there's a black woman here on YouTube who, let's just go there. I'm not gonna say her name because I don't want that beef. She was in the projects with like 5 kids. She was making couponing videos. She was making all these different videos, and she blew up on here on YouTube and got 100 and I think 108,000 subscribers. And so she started making 10, 20K a month from YouTube. Well, people in her comments, the first thing they said was like, yeah, well, you need to be out of projects. One of her most popular videos, you might be able to find her, I'm not going to say her name, is how to buy a house with the Section 8 voucher. Now, here's the kicker. Many people are like, what? Wait a minute. That's criminal. No, no, no. I told y'all, I've been telling you on this channel for years. Section 8, public housing, every city, every state has a program where they give down payment assistance to people who live in Section 8. If you come to the meetings, and they'll have like 2 of them, 2 1-hour meetings, couple hours meetings, you get that certificate, you go buy your house. They help you with the down payment. If you make on-time payments for 12 months, they will forgive that loan. So people are watching this woman's YouTube, ready to call up the police, ready up to call up Section 8, ready to snitch on her because they're like, she's making money off YouTube and living in Section 8. And she had to do a whole video like, nah, look, down payment assistance. Yes, I'm making money on YouTube, but I use this to leave the project. I don't live there no more. And so she kept couponing and doing all that stuff. Now she got a man in the picture, the men come around when you got some change here. But anyway, and so the audience was wanting to snitch on her. Everyday people watching this channel, like, well, I'm gonna snitch on her. Well, for what? Right? So we're creating an audience of potential snitches. What happened during this whole lockdown pandemic? People were calling and snitching on their neighbors. Go watch the ACL reports. ACLU, they defend a lot of people where they'll let their kid play down the street at the park and someone calls the police because they don't see a parent, even though the house may be a couple doors down. Well, we don't see a parent. The kids are unsupervised. They look like little children. I'm calling the police. So we're creating a culture of snitches in America. So when people try to say, well, black people don't snitch and that's why so much violence in the hood. No, we full of snitches. Now, I think Tim Jackson made a joke that it's 1 in 5 black men, but he was doing some math, some funny math, and so I'll let him defend that. I just shared it. I just copied and pasted and shared it. If the average person for murder goes to jail 6 to 10 years, that's the average, y'all. But for robbery, drug carteling, RICO charges, women who murdered their husbands, but not the reverse, robbing gas stations, all that stuff, you get 20 years on average. But these people who murder get about 4 to 10 years, right? 6 to 10 years. Child molesters get about 1 year on average. So how do you think these guys keep coming in? They running from the police. They got guns in their car. They got drugs on them, but they back out in 2 years. Okay? They back out in a year and a half. They sit in that county for months and all of a sudden they back on the streets. This is a combination of, and I'm not going to go back and rehash old history with Obama. We had guys being paid during the Obama administration to buy up all these guns in efforts to snitch on the MS-13 gang. And then we lost them. Let me say that again. We had people we were giving money to. They buying guns. They doing everything and they crazy at the border of Texas. And then we lost them. Couldn't find them. Couldn't find the guys. Couldn't find the guns. Lost them. And so why am I bringing this up? What does this have to do with the business channel? I want to encourage you to de-incentivize snitches in your life. Okay. Now, how do we do that? We do that by running honest, clean businesses. We do that by getting accountants in-house if we have to. We do that by going to trainings and seminars and beefing ourselves up. But best believe this isn't going to just stop with an accidental, I don't know how many times you've read the story, but it's like, oh, Best Buy geek accidentally finds child porn, accidentally finds this, accidentally finds criminal activity. Nah, they looking for it because they're getting paid. They're getting hecka paid out of this. Okay? So again, now, something I wanted to bring up that many people kind of ignore. I want to encourage you to keep your old cars. There's a reason you go to the car auctions and it costs so much. Like the car auctions make a lot of money. Coming in 2026, there's going to be a mandatory kill switch put in all cars, new cars. This is in the infrastructure bill from Joe Biden. I'll do a whole show tomorrow on it. And they're trying to build it up like, well, it's just us. We want to be able to shut off cars of bad guys riding down the highway. We want to be able to just cut the car off. Now, let me just tell you, this is a dangerous, slippery slope because it ain't going to be just bad guys, right? If they put a roadblock somewhere, they want to stop all the cars, they'll stop them. It's very dangerous, and I'll talk more about it tomorrow. But when I talk about Chicago and people talk about the gun violence in Chicago or the young man in Wisconsin, that Kennesaw guy that ran over the people, I think we're going to look and find that if you dig up their history, they kept being released without bail quickly out of the news, out of the jail before they could even get in their well. And you have to understand that's not by accident. You dig what I'm saying? That's not by accident at all. It's just not. And part of why to the other day people are saying, "Oh my God, Betterment just fired 9% of its workers, and this is terrible, and they just got all this money from the government, and that's not fair." And I'm like, don't worry. American greed is going to be full of stories where people snitched for PPP, snitched at these companies when they got laid off, snitched as accountants that got fired and they were mad. You're going to get all that. You're going to get years of American greed running out of not even going to run out of content. So I wouldn't be surprised, right? See, Christopher, about that. My biggest thing I tell people is YouTube kind of decentralized that radio movement because see, Tom Joyner, and y'all may get mad at me. I'm gonna say this. Tom Joyner was raising millions of money for these historically black colleges from older boomer black people. And so you got 100 historically black colleges left, right? 104, something like that. And they would raise $2, $3, $4, $5 million in a couple radio weeks, and it would be gifted to that school. And they would do that to almost all the schools. Now, in my opinion, I'm not older, but I would listen to my aunt listen to Tom Joyner. His show was it was educated, it was thoughtful, it led to these big investments into colleges every single year. Like some of these historical black colleges' budget was $3 million. They needed it. That's it. But so for whatever reason, Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey have taken over those slots. They pretty much just took old Tom Joyner out to space and put Steve Harvey and Ricky Smiley. Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey don't do that. They don't advocate for historical black colleges. They don't raise millions of dollars for those. They don't. It's much more silly season. So when it comes to radio, I do believe we have certain people there for a reason. Just is what it is. Oh, there's certain YouTubers right now. I tell my friend all the time. I think one guy is some kind of fed because he never touches on certain topics in LA. Never. So these women's is making money. I mean, listen, snitching economy. This is gonna be for real. This is a real economy. Okay. This doesn't surprise me. They will get women pregnant for a place to live. I'm just telling you, they gonna be snitching. No, it's a loan for a down payment on a home. Yes. Listen, they are. They were making laws, lots of laws. Very lenient. Very lenient. Operation Fast and Furious. Listen, I'm not gonna touch it because this video ain't gonna be able to watch. They're gonna take this video down. This shirt is an investment group I'm with. I'm just they doing way too much. Okay. So again, the infrastructure bill's got some stuff in there. When you read it, you're gonna be like, and they're gonna do this for the next 4 years. They're gonna keep pulling out stuff out of this bill, and y'all gonna be like, what? Nobody had time to read that bill. And that part is where I'm going in the conversation. She said people will make stuff up even when they can't find it. Why? I remember in the 90s there was they accused a bunch of daycare workers of molesting these children and it was all over the news, and I mean they were pressuring them to take a deal, take a deal. And one of the ladies just took a deal because it was like I can't take it. I can't stay in jail. I never did anything to these kids. Well, come to find out years later they realized maybe like 3 years later none of these kids had been hurt. None of them. But the machine, right? The machine of of the news and the town and putting them in jail, it was just so traumatic that they were ready to take anything. You had 50, almost 60 black people arrested in one small town by one cop saying they all had drugs on them. Well, come to find out years later, like literally 3 to 5 years later, they had to let every one of these people out of jail and pardon them. Some of them had lost their farms, their homes, their children were in foster care. And it was all because this one cop wanted to have these kind of accolades and act like he was winning. And this is part of why I'm bringing this up is I want you to understand When I talk about QuickBooks, when I talk about keeping records, when I talk about producing an economy, a digital economy that you can track and show, you're going to need that. You're going to need that because there are going to be people out there. You're going to have a lot of people, and we've seen them. Like the joke on the title is it comes from Vlad TV, and Vlad TV be copyrighting everybody, so copyright strike. So I'm just saying that's the joke on the title. But look at the Forbes article, and I'll bring it up here. FBI and other agencies pay informants $548 million in recent years. Now, this, you see this amount? This is almost $1 billion, but let's even go deeper. This is really only tracking from 2011 to 2018 almost. Not even that, 2015. Majority of this article is for literally 6 years, if that max, 5 to 6 years. So think about that. If they were willing to pay almost $1 billion, almost $500 million in 5 years, what have they paid over all these years? Look up economic hitman. Why do you think certain communities keep getting the same people coming out of jail, cutting up Ray Ray and Pookie and acting a fool? They snitching, right? And so this just proves it, right? New informants became millionaires. Look at this, with some Amtrak and parcel delivery workers making $1 million or more. What does that mean? That means somebody caught something in the post office, in the postal system. They saw something and they took enough information and started calling, calling. Many informants were authorized to commit crimes with permission of their federal handlers. In a 4-year period, there were 22,800 crimes. So when people tell me, oh, Black people got all this crime. Now we got some snitches doing a bunch of crime, doing 22. See, nobody's going to go back and talk about this part where snitches was doing heavy crime, skewing the community's numbers. Nobody wants to talk about that. And this isn't just white people. This ain't just Black people, it's white people. If you go actually just Google for a day, snitches and informants, you'll see all these white people with guns, purposely selling illegal guns. You'll see all these people dropping their computer off when their computer didn't work to Best Buy. Everybody at Best Buy got rich. Come on now. So right here, and you got to think about this. I want you to think about this. Let's say it was just 100,000 people. People are like, that's a lot. They would all be hella rich. So it's got to be more like 500,000 people. Huge numbers to be able to commit 22,800 crimes in a small year. That's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. So our auditors that opened the books compiled this information reviewing federal reports. Now, people are like, hey, this is what's available. They're like, some of this is old. 2011's old. I know where I was in 2011. What you mean? All right. So the FBI spent $42,000 a year on confidential human sources between 2012 and 2018. Long-term informants, old snitches, old 50, 60, 70-year-old, old Black Panthers, old CIA. What's his name? With the hair slicked back. What's the both of them? Jesse Lewis, Jesse Jackson, and the other dude. They're confirmed informants. One of the dudes of the Proud Boys, the leader of it, he's a confirmed informant. You know what I'm saying? They are part of 20% of the intelligence force. Right? They long-term stitches. They getting some money every couple of years. Right? So Tariq Nasheed, even though I call him something, I think he an agent. But at the end of the day, like Tariq Nasheed said, think about it. The last couple of times when Black people showed up with guns to go to this one event, they're like, hey, everybody, go over here and give me your email and bring your driver's license. And Tariq was like, that's crazy. Why are y'all going over there? Nobody seemed to question it. And so my biggest thing is like, folks is getting they self up there. Folks is getting they self up in there. Okay. They turning on themselves because they stupid. Well, that's just it. They moved it up to 10,000 because it was such a pushback from banks and it'd be a nightmare. Basically turning all kind of bankers into snitches, which they already are. Half these people saying, "Hey, this check looks suspicious," and then the bank gets sued, are bankers who are making money. They're trying to get that 1-800 reward money for snitching on somebody. The snitching economy is about to get real. People kept saying, "Well, Ericka, you know why? You know, we won't name his name, but he said, I can't believe y'all calling the police on me." Well, how does he know they calling the police on him? Because the police then called him and went to his house. So no matter what he tells you on this YouTube, the only reason he knows the police have been called multiple times, hundreds of times on him, is because the police came to his house. See, that part he ain't putting on YouTube, but you can figure out who I'm talking about. Why is the Georgia PD coming to talk to you? Oh, because hundreds of people are calling police. Okay. Okay. So yeah, again, people say all kind of stuff on this internet. Yeah, read between the lines. Okay. Let me see what that thing says. Oh, listen. Come on now. Come on now. There are people who read the book Economic Hitmen. Read it. Look at Roland Brown. Look at all, like, I told y'all this for Fox News, right? Because people are always like, "Oh, you're trying to be a Republican." I go, look at all the black people they pulled up out of nowhere to come on Fox News while Barack Obama was in office, and then dumped every single one of them off the channel when it was over. Come on, man. Pay attention. Pay attention. This is my thing. This is why I tell y'all, when go read the book Millionaire Next Door. Okay. Go actually go to some of these masterminds that cost 10 and 15K. Everybody in there in normal clothes. They got a gun on them now. Don't get it twisted, but they in there in normal clothes. Why? Because you have to realize, even last night in my class, we had the digital real estate class last night. Some people in there were from New York, and they were like, they're feeling how dangerous New York is, right? This smash and grab culture on top of this snitch culture. You can watch tons of videos on YouTube where the judge will be saying something, and the two men standing there, the other man looks at the other man and realize this dude's a snitch. It's wow. It's wow. And it's happening. It's gonna happen more. You're gonna have some accountant who's making 60K a year, and they figure out as they're looking at the book something's wrong, and they're gonna go, you know what? I'm tired of making 60K a year. Bloop, 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 bloop. Again, I remember sitting with a group of business owners, and they were joking. If they could make money by calling American Greed on somebody else they knew, they would do it. And I laughed because I'm like, don't do that, because it'll come right back where somebody's calling on you and it's not verified. You do what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, preppers, anybody who be on them prepping shows, they always find the craziest people to be on there. It's weird. Thank you. Takashi 69, very profitable. Very profitable. I'm telling you, they out here. They out here. Heavy. One whistleblower. Listen. $100 million. Right? Listen, what sense does it make if somebody's telling me, like, I want y'all to understand. One of the Robert Smith is a snitch. I don't know what he's snitching on, but it's something in tech. They already done wrote the article. They already done showed you. So Robert Smith gave millions of dollars to that black college, Morehouse. He paid off all the student loan debt of the black men. Awesome. As soon as the next month come, hey, we're arresting him for taxes. You can't make it up, right? And then they go in the thing, they go, oh, he's arrested for taxes, but he also snitched on another tech company. So the newspaper done told this man's business, and all you can hear now is that man's a snitch. You can't think about this man gave millions of dollars. He's a billionaire. He's not even in the conversation with Elon Musk and all them. They go, oh, Robert Smith, that snitch. I just want y'all to understand the snitch economy is very lucrative, and it's going to continue to be lucrative as the government tries to catch us. If the government is putting kill switch in cars mandatory in 2026, in every new car, it's mandatory. And, look at the amount they spent in a 6-year period. 22,800 crimes, y'all. Think about that. I know they watching now. That's why I be like, I love America. It's a great country. I have no problems with it. Do you know what I'm saying? Think about who blows up here on this platform and who doesn't, right? Come on, man. Al Sharpton, that's his name. Yeah. Listen. Listen, you want to be paid millions? I feel you, you know. Come on, Jesse Jackson. Listen, Farrakhan done outlived everybody, and it's a twofold. If something ever happens to Farrakhan, then you mobilize all these people that's left in they group, right? Think about it. I mean, Farrakhan. Think about it. If they shot him at any point in time in history, he disappeared. Nah, it would go terrible. It would go terrible. They gonna get their generational wealth through snitching. Listen, watch the 48 hours. The 48 hours police show, it does not show a lick of police work. It's always like, look, we got to go find somebody to snitch. There's 48 hours. That's the whole show. Anybody who lives in Birmingham, Memphis, Alabama, listen to me. If you live in those neighborhoods, you're a dummy. That's just all there is to it. When I'm out here on YouTube and I'm giving you this information, and we got Tech Tuesdays, and you could make money from your laptop legally, and you out there doing something stupid in some of those neighborhoods, you're asking for jail time. You ask for jail time. I'm not even feeling bad for her. Just about. See, people get mad when I say his name, but I'm like, he's in the middle of LA and never talks about a certain group of people. He never does. He talks about everything but it. He jumps through hurdles to miss it. I feel you. Prime example. Who do you think snitched on? What's the football player? Brett Favre in Mississippi. Who blew the whistle that he took that money from the government? It wasn't just an audit. They had $1.8 million. Richard Spencer, who's a white nationalist, it was leaked to the newspaper that his family received $3 million, and his family had to come out and go, "Oh no, no, he's not a part of the family. We don't even talk to him." This boy was just at the family house in Louisiana and Mississippi, where they own all this property, when they had to do the news advice. So he's out in the news like, "Oh, I'm poor, and I don't have nowhere to live, and it's just so bad for me." And you're like, "Come on, man. Your family owns 1,000 rentals in former slave owned land and have government contracts for farming, cotton, tobacco. Come on. Get off it. Get off it." Only certain people want to keep coming on, being on YouTube and being YouTube rich. The goal when you get on YouTube is to get that money and go buy real assets. And I keep telling y'all that. Oh yeah, listen. Black Lives Matter. Like, again, I'm not worried about this stuff because I don't attend these rallies. But everybody who was in the original Black Lives Matter movement out there in that little place where what's his name got killed, Michael, that boy, they all mysteriously died. All 7 of them. You have these new leaders now. The original, listen, listen. I ain't even gonna. You guys already know. That's right. People calling SWAT on themselves. When we used to joke, people be joking, "Ericka, you got to be the feds, right?" And the reason they keep saying that is because I just come from a family full of cops, and I'm very straight. Like, I don't fit in the majority of Black culture. I just don't. So when I be talking to people, I'll be like, "What are you talking about? What are you talking about?" I don't even. It's weird. The stuff I hear people say and do, I'm like, I would never tell nobody I did that. I would look at you crazy. Why are you telling me you did that? I'm telling you, it's over. It's over. Like, I mean, I'm telling you. Um, that's Bella. But think about it, Bella. That's what most people are thinking right now. Don't commit any crimes and you'll be fine. When people take their laptops to Best Buy, they had a man bought a laptop of another man off Craigslist, took the laptop to Best Buy to be cleaned up and fixed. He got arrested because the Best Buy person found kitty porn and all this other crazy stuff on it. He's like, "I just bought this laptop yesterday from Craigslist." Okay. So the Geek Squad person had to be like 1-800 ripping that phone. as soon as he found it on the computer, which is good. We want to report people like that. But think about what that means. It just, you could literally buy something or be someplace, or someone steal your credit identity online and somebody snitching on you. I remember people were like, "Well, Ericka, I know you got the PPP." I'm like, "You know all 7 of my businesses that got a PPP? No, you don't. You don't. So shut up. You out here thinking you finding something. I saw you got the PPP, Ericka, and you saw it was forgiven. Thank you. Have a great day." So again, you have people who are doing absolutely nothing, but the phone, they gonna make them phones ring in effort to do what? Try to create smoke. There's fire. I am telling you, this is going to be a big, lucrative industry. They literally found like 3 accountants who the boss was like shaving money somewhere, right? He was overpaying himself or something small. But because he was a huge contractor in Florida, it was like $3 million, right? So the FBI is like, boom, paid the accountant $3 million, the equivalent of what was the dude shaved off. Like, do you not realize that accountant probably could have called that business owner and got a bonus instead of having to take his 3 million and go hide somewhere in another part of Florida? Come on, man. This is just people doing stupid stuff, right? And again, the how are these people being found out? By bankers, somebody who think, well, they deposited 10,000 in their bank. I'm gonna call. I don't know about that, right? Again, how many times have you seen stories where the person got to sue the bank because they thought their check was fraudulent? Come to find out their check's 100%, 100% fine, normal. Um, there was a white couple that they had stolen some money, and they had bought a boat. They bought all this stupid stuff, and the newscast was at their door talking about, "Hey, we heard they stole money," and the father is literally sitting on a brand new motorcycle, like, "What? Why? Who would tell that lie?" Their neighbors. Their neighbors were such haters. Like the bank had not even figured out they stole the money because the bank put it in the wrong bank account. It was the neighbors who called and said, no, they got a new boat, they got a new truck, they got a new motorcycle. It's suspicious activity next door. Your neighbors are going to be haters because they watching you and can't figure it out. I'm You ever heard the old saying, I want you to do good, but not better than me? There's people out there like that. I promise you. Okay. Listen, a majority of ruling black class actually work their ass off to get there. So listen, if you see somebody, they got tattoos all on their neck and arms, they got a foreign, where you get that foreign from? That part. That part too. That part too. He had to roll on somebody else. Oh, keep old cars because in 2026, every new car will have a mandatory kill switch on it. Mandatory. All these places calling you for your old car, trying to get you. Nah, I'm gonna keep that old car. Come on, come on now. We already know, especially the 48-hour show. I mean, it's just every day you turn on that show, somebody snitching. So you're telling me with cameras at every corner almost in Chicago, we can't find who's shooting up the neighborhoods? And I already told y'all that one neighborhood that has the most violence is not. Diamond Dave brought it up, but it's truth. Like I've met 2 Hispanic police officers that did gun trainings here in Texas, and I was like, I thought you were a police officer. They're like, yeah, we were in Chicago till we shot the wrong person. I'm thinking, dang, they shot a black boy. Nope, they shot somebody Hispanic in the drug cartels, and their families were relocated within a week. And now they teach gun training classes. One, I think because they always move it. When you teach gun training classes in different cities every state, every weekend, hey, they got to come find you. You dig what I'm saying? Sorry, y'all. My contact is acting up. I'm about to get out of here. YouTube creators are cracking old kids. I'm telling you, the whole thing in Memphis is hot right now. Young Dolph. See, but it wasn't just the fact that it was Young Dolph. It was the fact that you have a multimillionaire person being killed, and Memphis is known to have a lot of gang activity. Right? Who paid them boys to shoot that man? They didn't just shoot that man for clout because you would have to have somebody know you shot him. Come on now. Bam, right here. Thank you, John. Security Exchange Commission whistleblowers reward can be up to 30% of SEC collected damages and sanctions. Come on now. Come on now. Some of the channels are being over the top. They're faking it out. Burn up, come on now. Economic hitman. I would find the link, but not right now. Sorry. Facts and facts and facts. He said that Lyndon Johnson said black people will vote Democrat for the next 100 years. You knew what he was saying? Listen. What's his name that does the show out of New York? Lou Rossman. He talks about all the time, like where they're very careful when they repair. That's the whole right to repair movement. They're fighting with Apple and big tech companies and HP to be able to repair laptops, like to compete. But again, there's a reason. They're gonna make their money. Trust. Exactly. Everybody switched up. It was like all the original people that started with it died off, moved away. Just weird. Weirdness. Open Source Foundation, yes. Right. So I brought this up a couple years ago that if you notice, what's the little short man up in New York that wants to keep running for president that they like talk bad about him? Bloomberg. So Bloomberg donated like $33 million or donated like $50 million to black colleges. And in the fine print, when you read it, it talked about how they're going to start giving flu shots and different shots and vaccinations, and they're going to start training the community. It was in the writing of the donation of the money. So for me, I was like, nah, anybody in DC, Howard, any of those places, like how come he was able to give 50 million to Howard and all them, but they can't fix the dorms? Come on, man. Come on, man. The snitching all-time highs. They don't. People blowing them phones up. Listen, Sandra is listen. We're wearing phones and watches and electronics and they recording stuff. I probably do need to change it. That's probably what I need to say. I'm telling you, it's a true thing. Look, man, you already know. This is the first. Listen, every neighbor nosy. What you do for a living? What you do for a living? I work from home. I work remote. Honey, listen, I'm keeping it. I'm gonna park it in the back, but I'm gonna keep it. Look, see, you telling my secrets. You telling that's why I bought. That's why I bought it. So it'll be cars that you can work on before 2012, honestly. But there's a lot in 2015 still have old systems. So they watching. They is watching. There is we had Muslim neighbors, and I remember they knocked on the door to come give her something, and she was like, "I can't open the door. My husband ain't here." Well, the husband hadn't been there for weeks. Like, how the children get into school? Like they weren't, right? They just weren't. So I mean, it's some shadiness out here. Trust. Like some stuff is normal. Thank you guys for helping her out, John Parkins. Manly man say, do they offer manly man? What kind of thumbnail picture is that? Got nakedness out here, sir. I'm gonna report you. Reporting you. I'm picking up the phone. Um, Bloomberg gave a lot of money to historic black colleges, but they ain't fixed no dorms. Come on, man. Stuff don't sound right at all. Wait till they get to space. 2008 Toyota, I would say probably. My ex keep asking how you're not drowning right now. Listen, come on, man. Look, fix that old Jeep, man. Fix it. People, listen. I had one creator reach out to me and we were talking on the phone and he was like, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, what? I realized he had looked back like 2, 3 years ago at something I did. And I was like, I ain't even did that recently. What are you talking about? Trust me, people be watching or they think they watch it enough. But if you ever watch the Netflix show, people put so much of their personal business out there. You really could almost watch a person. I know. That's exactly what I'm thinking of is the KGB. Exactly. See, you ever watch some of those old movies? If you watch the old Jason Bourne movies and people had the flip phone and they would pull the battery out the flip phone and then break the flip phone out and throw it down. When I was in Austin, I had a flip phone and people were like, "Why do you have a flip phone?" Like people were jokingly calling me the feds because I had this flip phone and I was like, "Oh, I have it because, I used to joke and say it's the number one phone in Mexico." And everybody be like, "What?" We had a neighbor. We even had a neighbor who my mom was like, my mom's military now, and she's like, 26 years, used to K-pop, overseas, everything. She's like, that man works for the government. And I was like, what does that mean? Right? We'd never see him for months at a time. And then when he was home, he'd be jogging every day around the neighborhood with his like shepherd dog. And we were like, that's weird. But he didn't have a house phone, he didn't have no internet, he didn't have no TV. He had a black car, government issue tags, in and out, gone. Trust me, those people, those Jason Bourne people exist. 2010, listen, keep it. Listen, Tam, I be on here talking about, thank the Lord, Jesus is my savior. Paperwork, doing the right. If they gonna record me, they gonna record me doing paperwork. That's what they gonna record. They gonna record me doing all the holy stuff. That's what they gonna record me doing. My VPN kept messing up. I was like, look here, feds, get off my computer. Y'all see I'm working. Get off my computer. Yo, I'm about to go buy another flip phone, walk around with it, just see how people act. You literally can buy them, they're disposable. Especially overseas when you're in Europe and Italy. That's the flip phone magic. That's what I'm saying. They stalking you. Like here's what I want people to understand. If you put your child as a baby on Instagram, Facebook till they 18 years old, like facial recognition already got them. They good. You did. Like they already got them. They're good. When I was at the airport, when they were testing people's fever, right? They were like, we need to see your fever. And it was a camera taking a picture of your face. I said, why I just gotta take a picture of my face to see if I got a fever? I would never participate. I'd be like, no, no. And the lady's like, ma'am, it's not that serious. I'm like, it is. They already tried to arrest this black man in Detroit off facial recognition software for him robbing somewhere. And he was like, coming from work, he was like, what are you talking about? His white wife came to the house like, oh my God, holding a little mixed baby. What's going on? And he's like, honey, this just is a misunderstanding because I go to work. And even the police officers were like talking to him. And he's like, you guys calm down. They're like, don't you tell us to calm down. But you could understand, like, these cops are talking to a middle class person in a reckless way because of facial software. Common sense would say, even talking to the man, just his demeanor, how he was dressed. I mean, not that you could pick all black people on how they dress, but like where he was living, his wife, his kids, it made no sense. It made no sense. Like even when they read out the charge, it didn't make sense. Oh no. Listen. We had a friend leave his cell phone at the house all the time, and he would just show up at the event. We'd be like, "Well, how you leave your cell phone?" It's like you don't need no cell phone. See, men don't like cell phones because they gotta text to type. What you doing every day? WYD every day. And where you out? What you doing? What you doing? It's like, Negro, anything but not texting you back. That's what I'm doing. Short. Yep. 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 So this is, the part of me doing this. This is, some of this is silly, but a lot of this I want y'all to understand is what's happening is you're going to have a group of people who are going to push up through society financially. Okay, that's why I'm talking about this. And you need to insulate your family and friends, or insulate your workers, by having certain measures, right? E&O insurance, errors and emissions, right? You need to have kind of a buffer around you. And that's why when I talk about um, moving to master plan communities and stuff and such like that, um, there's a reason I'm doing that, right? Because everybody who's going to be within that community can afford to be there. One, the children that go to school, it's going to be a limited cross section of children. Okay. And, if you don't plan your life, I am telling you, you're kind of planning to fail, because the door they're opening is it's just like when they tell you, like, I want you guys to understand. I shared Grant Cardone's post earlier today, because people are like, yes, it's gonna crash, man. Everything's about to crash, man. And you're like, no, it's not. I've already told y'all, you have 500,000 Indian folks who are gonna come over here and get those HB1 visas and work in tech and buy homes, right? Big homes for their family members, their cousins and them. You got people from Mexico, India, UK, Ireland, and Canada, who will be free to leave their country next summer. They're gonna be up in here. They're gonna be up in here. So that's why I showed you Grant Cardone talking about how the housing won't really crash, because you can't get returns out of the economy. You can't really get good returns out of annuities right now. You can't get great returns out of stock. And I mean, when I talk about stock, I don't mean active trading. I mean passive, like set it and forget it. And so you have people pushing towards real estate, right? Um, that'll be where you'll get your yields, right? So a lot of these people snitching and getting that significant money, they got to have enough money to move and pay for something else far away, right? Um, because that's really where people are going to make their money. You're going to see a lot of contractors get arrested in the next couple of years for not finishing projects. Happened when Hurricane Katrina happened. They were going around arresting all these contractors that were taking government money and didn't finish projects. They were locking them up, and they're gonna do that. When I tell y'all they're gonna have a round of locking folk up, they're gonna have another round of locking folks up. You either going to, you know, there you go, that right there. So you're either going to make sure your paperwork is not funny business. You're going to have to make sure that you're finding a new way to elevate yourself. You're going to have to either, Aaron Clary made a joke that a lot of these men are going to go back to trades, right? And they are, because they're going to get to a point where there isn't an office job for them, right? A lot of women are going to be pushed out of simple office jobs. Now, what do I mean simple office jobs? I mean stuff that's like just data entry, right? I had a young lady come onto the staff, and when I did the math, I was like, that not for 1,500, it don't make no sense. But 1,500 times two people, that's enough for somebody to stay home, right? And that's what people don't understand. The amount of money people need to stay home is so low, right? If you own your own home, it's very little, all right? Really, at that point, you're just managing emergencies and repairs. Um, but that's why I keep telling y'all, like, the housing's not going to go down, because it's the only place you can get true returns. And all these investors that were just dumping millions into Detroit, Ohio, um, upper Midwest, right? Because it was cheap, they're going to still come south, because it will still be the Sun Belt, right? Like, I literally see people just flooding out of California. Now, what's the problem with people flooding out of California and New York? These people going to be snitching on them. California has a rule. If you stay there at least over 180 days, you really are a resident of California and they can take your tax money. So California just told the whole state, y'all ready to snitch? You see your neighbor in town more than 3, 4 months at a time, they don't live in Florida. Snitch on them. That's what they're telling you. That's what they're encouraging. That's what they're advocating for. Okay. Same thing with New Yorkers, right? They advocating for the snitch. New York companies telling y'all to dress down when you come to work. They don't. They like New York's problems are bad, right? So welcome to the page. Thank you. Hey, one step at a time. I mean, honestly, y'all guys, if you're watching me, if you're watching any of the stuff I'm putting out, it's going to start with you having to do something. First, you're going to have to take an assessment of where you are. Just a true assessment of how long, if something happens, if you break your leg tomorrow, how long could you live off this money? Then two, okay, what's something I can do for the next 10 years that will build me up, right? The reason people are like, oh, you're going to quit doing YouTube? No, I'm not going to quit doing YouTube. I'm going to take a 3-month break because we're in the third wave of Web 3.0, which is really podcasting, talk radio again, but really podcasts or just talk radio and video, right? So you have to determine what's something you can do. What's something you're comfortable doing? I keep telling people stop becoming real estate agents and go become home appraisers. Go get these small weekend class trainings. Mortgage brokers. You just saw how a bunch of people got fired from Betterment because the mortgage game is going to change. Traditional banking is changing. But literally the money will be in trades. I keep trying to tell y'all that's all I have, like, over and over. If you're watching my channel, there's no magic potion. It's literally you're going to have to get a trade and something you can do for the next 10 years. You're going to see a return to a lot of men getting trades. You're going to see a lot of coaching because we have a society of people. They ain't read a book. They ain't really changed their life since they were 18 and they left high school. Now they're in their 30s and they're confused or they need help. And that's why coaching is just going to be explosive this next coming 5 years. Because if you can coach somebody how to do something, a small trigger to change their life, boom. Yasa Rose Early Learning, she's going to be teaching stay-at-home parents certain things. It's going to blow up because more people right now in California. I saw a couple Instagrammers. They had to go get their children the shot so they could go to in school. And then they said all our neighbors are just refusing to take the kids back to school. Out in Philadelphia, north of Philadelphia and in Connecticut, the parents are mad because they've been taking their kids to school, right? Driving them to school because there's no bus drivers. Nobody wants to take the shot and drive bus. The school said, hey, we're going to reimburse you. Well, it's almost the end of the year. And these people losing their y'all ain't reimbursed us for driving these kids to school. Well, first of all, it's your kid. The school got to reimburse you for your kid. So, I mean, I want you to very much understand what's going to happen here. These people who can't afford that, right? They just can't afford to take their own kid to school, or it's out of their way or whatever, or it's costing gas money. The kid's going to stay home. The kid's going to stay home. And that's why when people live in master plan communities, that neighborhood living is going to be the best. That's why the housing prices won't go down, right? Interesting. CYA, consult your attorney, consult your accountant. The truth, Regina, how did I learn all this? I read about 600 books over a long period of time. But mostly what I've learned is taking action. And I know y'all hate hearing me say that. Like, even when I teach my classes, they're like, well, what's the steps? The steps is to take action. The steps is to put yourself out there repeatedly. Make it go in an organized fashion. That's really the truth. Oh, honey, they already are. Some of these men, listen, there was a black woman who was delivering pizzas for Domino's Pizza. He called the police on her saying she left the kids in the hotel. Okay, they said, oh my God, she left these kids. We're going to arrest her. Well, she had a GoFundMe. She raised $150,000 in the GoFundMe. Come to find out, the baby daddy was mad because one of the children did not want to go with him. They wanted to stay with their other siblings at the hotel. That's right. She had a 10-year-old, a 6-year-old, and like a 8-year-old sitting in a hotel room waiting for her to finish her domino shift. Well, she made $150,000 off GoFundMe. Well, guess what he wanted? He wanted to get child support from her. I kid you not. So the reason they were even in this predicament is he called the police because he's mad because the kid didn't want to come with him. Two, she goes on GoFundMe, makes all this money. He petitions again for full custody of his kid and also petitions her for child support off that money. Think about that. So it won't just be these scorn baby mamas. I know some women, older women, who have grown husbands getting alimony. Trust me, the tables have turned. It just it's not gonna work like that, right? They've already shown. If you go watch several videos, it's gonna be a little like we're not at hyperinflation yet, but we're gonna have a little bit of low, and then boom, boom, hyperinflation. I mean, we already seen it, right? This part. So this is where people in California. This is also where the California government is getting very mad with Montana because of this, because they're seeing all these people with Montana license plates in California. Trust me, they own that. They about to snitch on it here too. They snitching on all of it. Stalking is real. Nah, I said 3. I said 3 months. But I mean, there's just a lot of stuff out there. Y'all gotta pay attention. 900, and they fired them via Zoom, y'all. Imagine they said, "Look, it's a mandatory. Michelle, you got to come in here. You know, Mr. G, it's a mandatory meeting." You like, "Oh shit, it's mandatory. I got to be there. What's going on?" You get in the mandatory meeting, you know something's funny, and you start recording it, and old boy tell you, "Hey, you fired. You got an email coming to you with your severance pay, and you got 2 months insurance. Get on out of here. Get up out of here." Y'all gonna learn. Trades and tech. I'm keep telling y'all what you're gonna see is all them little black boys in Atlanta goofing off. I'm making music. I'm a producer. If you ain't produced nothing in a couple years, you better go get you a trade, baby, to pay for that rap CD, that rap time. Skilled trades. I'm telling y'all gonna be seeing. I told you when I was driving to Atlanta, I looked up one of the construction men had a tattoo all along his face. I said, you know what? Good for him. I'm glad he out there at the construction site working. That brother need a job like everybody else. HVAC, carpentry, building, electrical. Yeah, there are skill assessment tests out here. Come on, Nicole Marie, tell them. Listen, 1-800 call and snitch. Come on now. Oh, you said technology. Okay, I get what you're saying. You will have it. You'll have a lot of automation. Dr. Dix comes on and talks about it, of course. Yeah. Oh yes. I mean, New Yorkers are still in their house. Like they are snitching on each other in New York at the time, right? New York might as well be Australia at this point. They tripping. Okay, Regina. So you know what you got to do is it's either time to get data entry. It's either time to switch it up. Healthcare always got jobs. Just gonna have to switch up what you want to do. Throw up face. It's crazy. It's crazy. He called and he going come on, man. It's crazy. Strippers, yeah, they paying to snitch on strippers, snitch on OnlyFans chicks. Let me tell you something. I've had clients call me that I was like, I don't even know what you're doing, but it sounds suspect. Okay, it sounds funny. Get off my phone. You ain't about to trick me. I'll give you a refund back for your console call. It's sounding sketchy. I'm glad I don't have children right now, man. It's a crazy world out here. Oh yeah, IRS is hiring thousands of auditors. Regina, you can go be an auditor. I mean, listen, they got the jobs. It's out here. Over Zoom. They got people showing the video. It's so disrespectful. Hey, if you're here on this Zoom, unfortunately, you're terminated effective immediately. I was like, dang, that's wrong. I'm telling, listen, that infrastructure bill they just pushed through, I promise you, Regina, there's a ton of jobs in San Antonio. You can knock it out. People fired or resumed because they tracked their productivity, and the average was stop. 2 hours working 8 hour day. I ain't gonna lie to you. I could probably believe that. I could probably believe that. Hmm. I probably could. I'm not even doubting it at all. 2 hours of work on average. Yes, my child's father back in the day was getting money that we arranged for me. I was in the military, and then he still secretly filed to get a county check and food stamps behind my back while I was already paying. Listen, Confidence Success TV. Let me tell you something. These people are obsessed with getting some kind of freebie handout from the guy, like obsessed. They're like, how can the government give me some more money? The government owes me money. Like they're so upset. That's how they're gonna get all these people. That's how they're gonna go back and get all these people for bank fraud, wire fraud, documentation fraud from this PPP and this unemployment. They showing you all these people filing for unemployment, like the projects. I mean, literally, they were showing all these Section 8 and projects that had police out there because they had all these people in the projects with brand new cars and new stuff signing up for PPP loan. You know what I'm saying? They were not playing. There you go. Congratulations. Truck driving is a trade. If you own your truck, you're gonna have it. They are. That's what I'm telling you. People don't understand. A lot more companies are going to trim down so many people. So many people. So many companies are like, what are you doing to produce income? Every time I pay payroll on Friday, I'd be sick. I'd be like, what is this? Why am I paying this? What does this person do? They not doing enough. It's not enough. Um, Johnny Afro, what did you used to do? Talk to us. What was the company? Because really, I'm telling you, these people coming in with this old mindset about making money at a job. It's just not. You're going to have to make money for the job in order to keep it. And it's not even your job. It's their job. Not totally. Nah, they got this thing propped up. I keep trying to explain to y'all. America is the cleanest shirt in a dirty pile. Now, what does that mean? Other people are going to leave their home country and put money into this country because it's not safe where they are now. That just is what it is. It's not safe where it is now. They're going to they got to make money. Oh, listen. So I have screen record. And all my VAs were like, "Oh, we gotta take it off. It's acting up. The computer screen, something's wrong. We gotta take it off. We can't use it anymore." And I'm like, "Ain't nothing wrong with y'all computers. Your computers ain't having no bugs every 2 weeks. That don't even make sense what you're saying." And that's why I mean, that's why I said, like, in the future, if I hire 3 more people back in office, oh baby, you gonna have screen record on your computer. And I'm gonna let you know. It's gonna record what you clicking, what you watching, what you typing. Trust. We gonna see it, baby. So again, a lot of people overseas have gotten hip to that and try to, oh, it doesn't work. My computer's messed up. I can't get on there. And all these sob stories. Trust me, they doing that. They doing that. So they are tracking. They tracking you. This is part of this is true. Globalization is it's coming for a lot of them, right? But there are some things because the way China is just having a moment. A lot of countries are like, well, let's build a few things over here. Hmm. Okay, it's been an hour, y'all. I'm gonna wrap it up, but uh, it ain't. It really ain't. Come on now. Come on. And they really hate it. They can't, like, oh, the computer's messed up. We can't use screen record. It's, oh, I had to turn it off. I had to disable it. It'd be like, okay, no worries. And this is why you won't be paid more than a certain amount. That's all. Not on my company time. My friend Tomorrow, he only poops on company time. He's so silly. That's what I'm telling you. Like, a lot of people don't understand. My father died in the Philippines, and that's a whole nother story for another day. But the Philippines got a lot of corruption going on. Their number one way people die, it's not number one, it's like number four, it's poison. They poison people. Very high number of poisonings in the country every year. Huge numbers. Huge. Oh, I know. Listen, oh, I can't, it's not working and it's something wrong and it's broke. And I'm like, okay, no problem. No problem. Don't worry. Don't ever ask for a raise. Don't ever ask for nothing because you're not going to get it. It's a simple task. Um, Cheap computer, $200, screen record on it. A list of, like, again, if you're in any of my classes, when I talk about SOPs for the day, you should be able to track yourself in a day. What do you do? What do you create? That somebody else can do it, right? And once you get to a certain level, like now I've almost SOP'd myself out of most everything I have right now. Like, I don't today I was like, what do I want to go do today? Mondays are usually a reset day for me. But when you really SOP it all out and business is cyclical, people are already got their brains turned off. I'm gonna just say it like this. People got their brains turned off. Their brains were turned off in October. They cruising for the rest of the year. They chilling. They, oh, can't wait for Christmas. Boy, I can't wait for Christmas. Everybody I know that's in business, a business owner, they've already got the planner ads launching. They already got the conferences ready. I think Circle of CEOs, they already got a conference for the 1st of January or like the end of the month of January. People had these years for 2022 planned out, right? So I have like a business planner and a productivity planner coming out for you guys because people are like, well, what's the schedule? How often should I post? How often should I do this? Or what's the this? And a lot of times you're not doing the deep work, you're not doing the analyzing. You're trying to run off motivation, and motivation runs out, right? We see it every year at the beginning of the gym, right? Like, the past every day since the 1st of December, which hasn't been long, I've been getting on the Stairmaster and I record it and put it on Instagram as a joke, and I tag Money Madu. And it's because the new year already started for us. That our business, it already started. It already started. Globalization's real. It depends on how cheap the computer. It depends on what you need your staff to do. Majority of computers, HP basic computers can tag, and Dell, they can handle all the data entry stuff you're trying to do. If they're trying to do graphic design, yes, they need a more higher end computer. Even HP can handle that, and Apple. So, it ain't that serious unless your team's downloading huge files all the time, which that you can use with external hard drives. Cheap computers work just fine. Standard operating procedure. Yep. Okay, Regina, you gonna make it, girl. You gonna make it. Global workforce, right? Global. So this is part of why I did this show tonight. But that's what I have for y'all. The snitching economy is about to get real. It's about to be very lucrative for a lot of people because they gotta figure out how to get them. They gotta figure out how to get them. Thank you. Yes. I mean, lots of work from home opportunities. If you're in any of my classes, if you're in the laptop to ATM class, we talk about getting jobs offline. If you're in any of the classes, we talk about how you can do it. There you go. True, true, true. So, anyways, you guys, this is your girl Ericka, Classy Climb Blog. Make sure you protect yourself by getting good documentation, good paperwork, and make sure you have a great night. It's your girl Ericka, Classy Climb Blog. Later.